Hello my dear students, welcome to Vidyashri online classes. Let's start today's class with chapter 2 of civics, federalism. With the help of this chapter you will be able to know the meaning of federalism, means what is federalism. Then the different systems of the government in all over the world, unitary system, federal system. Next topic is types of federalism. The first one is coming together federation, the next one is holding together federation. Then we will move to key features of federal system. The next main important topic you will read is how is federalism practiced in India. The next main important topic, decentralization in India. It means how decentralization or power sharing is practiced in India. In this, we have two categories. Rural local government means Panchayati Raj system. The another part of the system is urban local government means municipalities. The last main important topic of the chapter is what problems are faced by Indian government in this type of decentralization. So let's start the module. Let's start with our first question. What is federalism? Federalism is a system of the government in which the powers are divided between central government and the different state governments. It means federalism is a system in which we have more than one level of the government. The first government or the first level of the government is the government for the entire country, that is responsible for a few subjects which are of कॉमन नेशनल इंटरेस्ट. इट मीन्स सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट जो है उसके पास वो सब्जेक्ट होते हैं या वो उन सब्जेक्ट्स पर काम करती है जो एंटायर नेशन के लिए कॉमन इंटरेस्ट वाले या इम्पॉर्टेंट होते हैं. द सेकेंड लेवल और द अदर गवर्नमेंट्स आर एट द स्टेट लेवल. दोज लुक आफ्टर मच ऑफ द डे टू डे एडमिनिस्ट्रिंग ऑफ देयर स्टेट्स. इट मीन्स दूसरा जो लेवल है गवर्नमेंट का वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट या प्रोविंसेस गवर्नमेंट है जो उन्हीं सब्जेक्ट से डील करती है जो उसके ज्यूरिसडिक्शन या उसके स्टेट या प्रोविंस के लेवल के होते हैं और जो डे टू डे के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को एफिशिएंटली चलाने के लिए ज़रूरी होते हैं. नाउ in a federal system, both these levels of the government enjoy their power independently. It means they do not interfere in the working sphere of each one. Let's move to the second question or the key feature, and that is the key features of federalism. What are the key features of federalism? मतलब वो क्या ऐसी विशेषताएं हैं जिससे हमें ये पता लगता है कि इस कंट्री में या इस एरिया में या रीजन में जो गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम है वो फेडरल सिस्टम है. द फर्स्ट मेन इंपॉर्टेंट की फीचर इज मोर देन टू लेवल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट. इज इट क्लियर? ईदर टू और मोर देन टू लेवल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. द नेक्स्ट मेन इंपॉर्टेंट की फीचर इज डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट गवर्न द सेम सिटीजन्स, but each government has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation and administrations. इसका मतलब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट दोनों ही सेम सिटीजन्स को गवर्न करती हैं, लेकिन दोनों का वर्किंग स्फीयर और जो ज्यूरिसडिक्शन होता है वो अलग अलग होता है. द थर्ड इम्पॉर्टेंट की फीचर इज द ज्यूरिसडिक्शन ऑफ दीज different levels of the government are specified in the constitution. is it clear कि गवर्नमेंट का जो वर्किंग स्फीयर है या जितने भी सब्जेक्ट हैं जो उनके अंडर आते हैं काम के लिए वो स्पेसिफाइड कर दिए गए हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से, सो दैट कि इनके बीच कोई कन्फ्यूजन या कन्फ्लिक्ट अराइज ना हो. द नेक्स्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट की फीचर इज the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by any one level of the government. मतलब हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जो प्रोविजंस गिवन हैं, जो बेसिक प्रोविजंस हैं, उन्हें गवर्नमेंट सिर्फ अपने लेवल पर या अकेले चेंज नहीं कर सकती है. इट मीन्स इट इज़ नॉट ईजी टू चेंज द फंडामेंटल प्रोविजंस और द बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अलोन बाय एनी सिंगल गवर्नमेंट. The next important key feature is independent judiciary. In any federal system, courts have the power to interpret the constitution and the power of the different levels of the government. It means the courts acts as an umpire if disputes arise between different levels of the government in the exercise of their respective powers, then court can play an important role and they resolve these kind of disputes. The next main important feature of federal system is the revenue system. It means or the sources of the revenue. The sources of the revenue for each level of the government are also clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy by the constitution. Means each level of the government have their different sources of revenue. Discuss about the next important topic, and that is the different forms of the federal system. Basically, there are two kinds of routes through which federation have been formed. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit, so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. This type of coming together federation include the USA, Switzerland and Australia. In this category, all the states or the state governments have equal powers such as the central government have in these countries. What does it mean? कमिंग टुगेदर फेडरेशन में जो यूनियन बना या जो फेडरेशन जो बनी वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स गवर्नमेंट को मिला के बनती है. इट मीन्स स्टेट्स के पास यहाँ पर कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंट पावर्स होती हैं या सेम इक्वल पावर्स होती हैं जैसा कि वहाँ की सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास है. The second route is where a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states or the different state government and the central government. This type of federation is known as holding together federation. Example of this type of federation is India, Spain and Belgium. In this category, the central government is more powerful than the state governments, and all the constituent units or the different provincial governments or the state governments of this federation have unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers also. The next question is, what makes India a federal country? Earlier already we have discussed about the key features of federalism. All those key features are adopted in the Indian government systems, such as more than two level of government. We have three tier of the government. The first one is central government, second one is state government, and the third one is local government. And in that local government, Panchayati Raj at the rural area and the municipalities at the urban areas are involved. And in these different types of government or the different levels of the government, decentralization of power is also there. And each level of the government have their different sources of revenue collection, and all the powers which are distributed among all these levels are specified clearly by the constitution. We have three different lists in which all the subjects are distributed among these levels of the government. The first list is union list. In this list, all the subjects of national importance are involved, such as defense, foreign affairs, banking, communication or currency. On all these subjects, only the central government has power to make rules, regulations or decision making. The next list is state list. This list contains subjects of state and local importance. For example, police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. On these subjects, state government alone can make laws mentioned in this list. The third and the last list is concurrent list. It includes the subjects of the common interest of the both central government as well as the state government, such as education, forest, trade union, marriage, adoption and succession. Sorry, both the unions as well as the state government can make laws on these subjects which are included in concurrent list. But if their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will prevail. Let's discuss about our next important topic, and that is how is federalism practiced in India. As we all know that constitutional provisions are necessary for the success of any kind of system. So what kind of provisions or the policies are adopted by the Indian constitution for the success of the federation? So let's start. The first main important policy was linguistic states. It means the creation of linguistic states was the first and a major test for the federation in our country. What happened in that? Boundaries of old states changed to ensure people speaking same language live in the same state. Now, according to this policy, many old states have vanished and many new states have been created. Areas, boundaries, the names of the states have been changed, such as Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Maharashtra. This was done to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. Some states were created not on the basis of language but to recognize differences based on culture, ethnicity or geography. Example, Nagaland, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. Some national leaders feared that it would lead to disintegration of the country. But the experience has shown that the formation of linguistic states has actually made the country more united. Now, the second policy was language policy. What happened in that? A second test for Indian Federation is the language policy. Our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. Hindi was identified as the official language. But the problem is that Hindi is the mother tongue of only about 40% of the Indians. So that's why there were many safeguards to protect other languages. Beside Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages according to our constitution. Now, the different states have their own official language and all the government work takes place in those languages only. Use of English was to stop in 1965 as a language for official purpose. But non-Hindu states, especially Tamil Nadu, rose in protest against stopping it. Then the central government responded by agreeing to continue the use of English along with Hindi for official purposes. The flexibility shown by Indian political leader helped our country avoid the kind of situation that happened in Sri Lanka. Discuss about one more important point, and that is the relations of central government and the state government. Let's discuss about some important points to explain this, how the central and state relations impact or affect the strengthening of the federalism. For a long time, the same party ruled at both the center and at the state level in India. Because of this, the state governments did not exercise their powers as autonomous federal unit, such as dominance of the Congress since 1952 to 1967. ये वो टाइम पीरियड था जब ऑल ओवर कंट्री में सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी कांग्रेस पार्टी की होती थी और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट भी कांग्रेस पार्टी ही फॉर्म करती थी. ऐसे टाइम में कांग्रेस पार्टी जो थी, या और यू कैन से द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वाज मोर पावरफुल एज द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स आर डायरेक्टली अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बिकॉज दे हैव द सेम पार्टी गवर्नमेंट इन द स्टेट लेवल ऑल्सो. एंड एज when the ruling party at the central level and the state level were different, the central government would often misuse the constitution to dismiss the state governments that were controlled by rival parties. Now, what does it mean? जब कभी ऐसा हुआ कि सेंट्रल लेवल पर गवर्नमेंट किसी और पार्टी की है या रूलिंग पार्टी जो है सेंट्रल लेवल पे वो अलग है और स्टेट लेवल की गवर्नमेंट किसी उसकी राइवल पार्टी ने फ्रेम की, तो यहाँ पर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट जो है वो अपनी पावर्स का मिसयूज करती है विद द हेल्प ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, एंड दे ट्राई टू डिसमिस द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स बाय इम्पोजिंग प्रेसिडेंट रूल इन those states where they have the rival parties. This kind of examples also we have in our country during the time of the dominance of the Congress party. Now all these things changed after 1990 with the rise of regional political parties and the beginning of coalition government at the center. Now what do you mean by the coalition center? When a single party is not able to get the majority to form the government, then they tie up or they make some kind of agreement to frame the government with the some regional parties to prove their majority. So when this type of system, or you can say the system of the coalition government started since 1990, the relations of states and center governments automatically changed. No single party got a clear majority in Lok Sabha. As a result, major national parties had to enter into an alliance with several regional parties to form a government at the center. Now this type of culture led to a new policy or a new culture of power sharing and respect for the autonomy of state governments, which was supported by the Supreme Court. As we all know that local government is the best way to increase people's direct participation in decision making. So let's discuss about the local government system in India. In India we have two type of governments under this system. At first level we have rural local government, or the another name of this is Panchayati Raj system. In this Panchayati Raj system we have three categories. At the first level, or the three levels, at the first level we have Gram Panchayat. Each and every village has a Gram Panchayat in which we have some members and a president, that is called Sarpanch, and members are known as Panch, who are directly elected by the adult population of the village. And this Panchayat works under the overall supervision of the Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha is the body of all the adult members of that village. Now at the second level we have Panchayat Samiti. A few Gram Panchayats are collectively or togetherly form, that is known as Panchayat Samiti or block or mandal. The members of this body are elected by all the Panchayat members of that particular area. At the third level we have Zila Parishad, or you can say at the district level, District Parishad. All the Panchayat Samitis or Mandals in a specific district collectively form the Zila Parishad. Most members of the Zila Parishad are elected. Members of Lok Sabha and MLAs of that district along with some other officials are its members. Now let's move to the second level of the local government, and that is urban local government. In this we have municipalities. Municipalities are set up in big towns, and in big cities we have municipal corporations. The head of municipal council is called chairperson and the members are called councillors. The head of municipal corporations is called the mayor and the members are called corporators. Both these municipalities and municipal corporations are controlled by elected bodies consisting of people's representatives. In India, about 36 lakhs elected representatives are known to be there in different panchayats and municipalities all over the country. Now let's discuss about the last main important topic, and that is what problems are we face in this type of decentralization or in this type of rural or urban local government. The basic problems which we are facing is the Gram Sabhas are not held regularly, or you can say the meetings of Gram Sabhas are not held regularly. The second main problem, most state governments have not transferred significant powers to local government. The third one is
they are not provided with adequate resources.
I hope with the help of this module, all the concepts of the chapter are very clear to you. So, do your work properly, stay safe, have a nice day.